So in assignment 5, you need to modify your add student function, and you need to implement drop student method. So here, just quickly to talk about the logic about how you will change your add student. So when you do your add student, we will have the student's name. So that will be a string. So remember that's before. So that's what we. So this one actually was before we have only add student method. We just add the new student. So afterward, you see you increment your number of students. So you can see here we're using the post increment. So originally we're using the index for the number of students. So after we assign the student, we increment by that. So that's what we have before. But now because I asked you to add the capacity. So that's why you see here, before you really can add the student, you need to make sure you have enough capacity for your student array. So that's why here we have the capacity is the data attribute. We need to compare now the number of students. Do we have enough space to add a new student? So if a current student greater or equal to the capacity, for example, the default is 16. If I already add 16 students, then I shouldn't just add student. So that's why here we add an increase size private member method. So this one, why it's private? Because when we try to increase the capacity, actually is only for our internal class usage. So this method, you see, I didn't put in the UML diagram. So even you put that, they should be private. The accessibility should be negative, they are private. So this increased size actually just to enlarge our capacity, right? So that's why you see here, we need to recreate a temp array. So that's a string array. I'm using the current capacity by times 2. So after that, you see I enlarge a current array. So that's why here, for example, this my new one. Okay, so my new one, I just have that the capacity double. So then here I refill this one by the temp. So then here, right, so then one thing is, but I have my old one, right? So my old one, let me put in the different color. Okay, so then we insert the old one. So old one will just make that a little smaller. Okay, so that's the old one. Okay, you see your old one, your old array, they have less capacity. And also this one is being refilled by the student variable. Okay, so they are refilled by different things. So this one is the old one. Okay, refilled by student. Okay, so let me change color. You can see this one. But this one actually is the temp, is the new one. The new temp, I refill by the temp variable name, using this one to refill to this new one. So that's why here I increase the capacity. But when I increase the capacity, actually they are empty content. So then I need to copy the old one. So I see I do an array copy. I copy the old one, that's the source array, start from 0. So then I have my target array, so that's 10. So then start from 0. So then you see here how many you need to copy. So then it's O1 how many element in here I copy over. So that's here I have the important thing copy over on the older information copy over. So after we copy over, right, so then we reassign this temp to the student. So then don't forget our capacity we need to enlarge. We need to double that. So that's how we will modify the new add student. So I give you the hint for the add student. So the same thing, when you do the drop student method, you need to be careful. Your drop student method, the first thing we need to find the student. So that's why you need to have a for loop for I equal to 0, I less than the number of students. Then we see, do I have this student or not? Okay, so that's why this one I didn't complete finish. I only told you the logic. So the first thing, if you find the student, right, so you're getting here. If you find the student, then you need to remove the student and move up the rest of student up. So you may need another for loop for that. For example, the same thing, let me show you. For example, I'm looking for the student here. Okay, so then I have the student, student name. So we have so many students. So for example, Ethan want to drop from our class. So then the first thing you need to go through the loop to looking for Ethan. So after you find Ethan, what you should do? Right, Ethan should be removed from our class, right? But when I remove, how I remove this location? I put empty information? No. So supposedly if you want to drop Ethan, you need to actually make the Carol go up. And also every student after the Ethan should be go up one by one. So that's why here's what I say. After you find the student you're looking for, then in the code block, what you need to do is you need to remove that student. But when you say you remove this student, actually mean you move the rest of the student up. So then here, since you find Ethan, right, you know the location I. So then actually it starts from I plus 1. The next student is J. So then actually J needs to overwrite to the I. So that's why here you see the student J, you need to overwrite to the I. So then afterward, okay, so then your J need to be increment by 1. So then the same thing, you see Carol copy over to Ethan. But who next to Carol, then they also need to copy over to Ethan. So this one you need to see here how you will write. My answer may be not completely correct. Actually, you have many different ways to implement that. But the purpose is after you're done, you need to have another for loop to copy over the rest of that. So then after you're done, right, your number of students you need to decrement. And also here, since you find that your for loop actually finished, so that's why you need to break out from this for loop. So if you didn't find the student, actually, if the student not found, you should do nothing. So that's about the hint about your assignment 5. Okay, share your question in the discussion, and also make sure you also add the instructor information. Okay, so the next one, actually, I have few minutes. I just want to show you the case study I finished for the association relationship. So here, actually, I will show you in this association relationship, we have the course. We kind of finished now. So then how we will add the student and the faculty. So this one just case study. You don't need to continue to work on that. But if you want, actually, I have the source file for you. So then you see now our course we finished, right? So then actually our course is we have the name, we have the instructor. But before our student list, we only make them a string. Now you need to make the array, student array. So then other than that, they will be the same. Just the different thing is when you add student, the same thing. You need to add student object, drop student object. So then after you have the course almost complete, like from assignment 5, then you see here, instructor. How should we implement instructor? Right, so your instructor actually have instructor ID number. You have the name. You have the date of which day they hired. And the instructor should have course list. What those course they teach. So then maybe you can have number of course maxima if they have. Okay. Otherwise, you see here, you just need to see how many number of course, because sometimes maybe they don't have the maximum. Then you have your instructor constructor function. You have get ID, name, and add a course, remove from the course. So the same thing, when you add a course, you add a course. You passing by the course object. Then you remove the course, you passing by the course object. So after you have your instructor class, so of course you will see here the student class actually is very similar. Student class and instructor class, they are very similar. They both have ID, name. Just one thing is instructor is date hired, student is date enrolled. So then you have course list, you have number of course. So maybe if you want, you can have maximum course for the student. So that's how we revise from the UML diagram the relationship. So that's why here I have the update on the updated UML diagram. So this one including the data attribute and the instance method for each class. So according to the UML diagram, actually you can think about how will you implement the student and the faculty class. And also here is my set instructor function. And your add student. They actually pretty similar as what we have. So then that's my sample output about the test driver. So in the test driver, actually, I write a test driver, create at least 2 students, 2 instructors, 3 courses, and 20 students. So each course have the default capacity. So each one has 10 students, remove 3, add another 2. So then we displayed each course and the instructor and the student information to see if that's correct. So this one just case study. If you are interested about that, I will have the source file upload. And also on the other hand, you can try to implement all of that and do the testing. So that's our association case study about the course, student, and the faculty.